You know, I wasn't expecting a surprise drop for April Fool's, and when we did see the post yesterday about the redacted secret lair, I figured it might have just been some kind of a bit, but then as we saw, some graphics and people started to break it down, it did seem to be legitimate that there'd be at least some kind of announcement today, and it turns out there was. We've got Secret Lair X Marvel's Deadpool, and this secret lair is not only incredibly loaded in terms of the cards that are inside, but it has a mechanically unique card in Deadpool, which is fascinating, and we're going to take a look at all the cards and talk about it. As of the time I'm making this video, they are still available for purchase, but I don't know how long that will be the case, obviously, so if you did want one and didn't get a chance to, maybe you'll get lucky seeing this and you can still go on and grab one. Now, if you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified when new videos are posted. And of course, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the video and the Deadpool secret lair as a whole. I know people are mixed on Universes Beyond, and I'm not going to jump into that barrel, every single time I make a video. But one of the things I did think was worth noting is that this only contains one mechanically unique card similar to the other Marvel ones. But it is, again, a card that unless we perhaps at some point down the road, it gets reprinted somewhere else, the only way to get it is going to be in the secret lair. And so right now it's $39.99 for the non-foil and $49.99 for the foil, which is a $10 increase versus the usual ones. And it's not like this is a charity one. My guess is that it has to do with licensing and stuff, and so they're charging more because they can. But we're going to take a look at the individual cards in the lair itself, starting off with Deadpool Trading Card. Now, this is, again, like I said, a brand new card. If you're not familiar with Deadpool, understand that he often is breaking the fourth wall, self-referential, so they've played into that in this card as well. So it is 2 black-red legendary creature mutant mercenary hero. As Deadpool enters, you may exchange his text box and another creature's text box. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 3 life. And then you can pay 3, sacrifice this creature to allow each other player to draw a card. So, let's talk about the card. So, that text box effect does exist on one other card that is legal in Eternal formats, but it is very, very much a mechanically unique effect that does not come in often, and honestly kind of opens up a lot of possibilities, because you can play this and then swap with your opponent's commander, and you can kind of lock, them into a specific situation where you basically take away their commander's ability to actually use their effects, and this, of course, when you give it the effect to your opponent's creature, then that person's losing 3 life at the beginning of each of their upkeeps, and they can use that sacrifice effect to let everybody else draw a card. So it's putting a lot of pressure on the opponent, and it doesn't cost a ton to cast. Obviously, it's red and black, which fits right into the color scheme and the literal color scheme of Deadpool. But I think this effect is super interesting because there's a million different ways to play this. You could be a super troll, or you can just basically, kind of go off with crazy stuff depending on who you're playing against and what's going on. I would like to also point out that it does not have to switch with an opponent's creature, so you could, in random scenarios, I don't know why you would necessarily, swap it with one of your own, but I think generally speaking, the best use for this is going to be to target the opponents. Kind of goes without saying. I do like the text, draw me like one of your French cards. It's funny, it's kind of literally breaking the fourth wall with the sword cutting through the card as well. Overall, well designed. I don't think it's anything too egregious, but it is a unique card that does feel like it fits Deadpool's flavor. And again, given Deadpool's popularity and Marvel's popularity, this will probably end up being a very well-desired card. Now, what really stands out to me about this secret lair, though, is the reprints are, top-notch, pretty much all of them. We've got Vandal Blast, which isn't the most expensive card, but still is at the cheapest, like $3 to $4, so it's not a terrible inclusion. The last one that was in a secret lair did quite well. I expect this one will do okay, too. The really funny flavor text is actually a lot going on in the card. It says, "Look at me, I'm Chandra Nalar," obviously making light of Chandra's planeswalking, but also breaking the fourth wall. But there's a black lotus being burnt in this picture, and then the collector is in the background, another Marvel character. So it's kind of funny, that like meta referential stuff going on there, while also being a really good reprint and just thematically fitting with everything Deadpool is looking to do. So I really appreciate that attention to detail and decent enough inclusion. Blasphemous Act getting a reprint here as well. Deadpool with the Infinity Gauntlet is just a nice little touch. Blasphemous Act doesn't exactly, it doesn't cost a ton, but it is still a really good card that's pretty much a staple in red for the most part. I do think it'll be nice to have another version of this that will be, accessible for people that want to bling out their decks. One of the things about this card is there are not a ton of premium versions of it, really. So if you don't mind the Marvel stuff, it's definitely going to be an option you have access to. but some people are probably going to hate it. It does fit, thematically. And again, the flavor text is funny. It does feel like they really tried to make this kind of, stand out. Now, Saw in Half is one we've got that I'm, very happy to see getting reprinted here. This card was in Infinity, and it was reprinted once in Bloomborough. Still a pretty good card, though, like at least $6 to $7, and the Galaxy foil version, I think it is, was like $15. So it's a really good card. It's absolutely one of those cards that can work both as removal, but also, to duplicate your own creatures and get additional trigger effects and stuff. So a solid inclusion here that kind of, is definitely a card that I think over time will go up in value regardless, so good to get ahead of it. But really, the MVP card here is going to be Deadly Rollick. Super goofy, articles, but it is very expensive. $30 plus for the cheapest. It got reprinted in Commander Masters a couple of years back. The price was down. It was pretty affordable, and it's just gone back up. And we've seen these Secret Lair trends now where they have reprinted Fierce Guardianship and Deflecting SWAT, and both of those were extremely good reprints. This card kind of follows suit. It pretty much pays for the majority of the Lair itself. It's the $30 card in terms of its value. Deadpool's obviously going to be at least $10. I mean, I think that pretty much goes without saying. So from a value perspective, you're looking at some really good stuff. And this is the type of thing I want to see in Secret Lairs, where they're including cards that are really in demand, that are really good. And it's just crazy that we've seen now 3 of the free cast Commander cycle be included in Secret Lair products. Hopefully they still plan to reprint them other places as well, because people that don't want to buy Secret Lair or don't have the money to buy Secret Lair should still be able to get some more accessible versions of what are some of the best cards in the Commander format, period. But I'm really glad to see that it's being included in this one nonetheless. Basically, it's worth the value to me. It's definitely annoying that it's a little more expensive, but it's still worth the value despite being more expensive because of Deadly Rollick's inclusion, and then the other 3 cards being good, and Deadpool himself being good, and obviously, has some collector value. There's going to be people who hate this because you don't like Marvel, and I can respect that. But again, the very fact that they're including a big name card like Deadly Rollick in here means that it's going to have some appeal to everyone, even if you're not a huge fan, but still want to get a version of that card and have some other decent stuff along the way. I think you can't really go wrong with this one. Honestly, I think the non-foil is a better value, just because, sometimes you get the foils that curl, and here you're pretty much getting things that are in good condition, but that's just because of the increased price. If it was 30 and 40, I would say go with the foil all day. But realistically, you got to make whatever decision is going to be best for you and your wallet. But I do think it's a really, really solid card design, card selection, whatever you want to call it. And it was nice to see this kind of pop up today. As just a little thing. So again, it is still available. It is 3:30 p.m. as I'm recording this, Eastern time. So it is still available. It did not sell out, but there was a queue. I would imagine that it's probably going to sell out sooner rather than later, but I don't say that to make you go rush to get it, just so that you know that it is technically still available now for people who want to get their hands on it. That's going to do it for this video, though. Let me know what you guys think of the surprise drop of Deadpool Secret Lair, and if you think it's going to be worth buying, if you grab one yourself, kind of what you're excited about. I'll catch you guys in the next video, but sound off in the comments down below.